All right, good day, guys. Today, I would I like to talk about I would like to talk about the load combinations using the strength design or load and resistance factor design, specifically using the National Structural Code of the Philippines 2015 or the NSCP 2015. All right, and here in section 203.3, the basic load combinations are laid here. We have at least seven. We call this rules, but if you expand this load combinations, I counted that it will expand up to 18 load combinations and even more, right? So today I would like to uh, input this in our STAAD.Pro program here. So we have here in our automatic combinations. So I am using STAAD.Pro Advanced CONNECT Edition. So if you go to automatic load combinations, originally we have no NSCP, but in here in my program I already added the NSCP, but originally it is not found in here. So how can you add or edit auto load combinations? You just want to go here, automatic combinations, and then click edit auto combination rules, and then here the drop down. Actually, originally it is only up to UBC 1997, right? So there is no NSCP 2015. So I just added this just recently, and it's just very easy. You just click new code and then type uh, NSCP 2015, right? And then click on OK. But since we already got here, what I need to do is just to expand to update this table, which we just added here in the code. All right, going back here in our list of basic load combinations, as what I have mentioned earlier, we have 7 counts or 7 rules, right? But if you expand this and input this in our STAAD.Pro, you will notice that we can expand this up to 18 counts, right? So what we are going to do is all of these basic loads right here, we are going to include in our load combinations so that the next time you use the NSCP 2015 auto load combinations, all of these are already included as long as all of our basic loads are well defined beforehand, right? So here, and I would like to also to mention that all these load combinations that have earthquake loads, right? Like this load combination 203-5 and 203-7, there is still a expanded form using section 208.6.1 earthquake loads of our NCP code, right? So later we will expand further. There is an expanded form of these loading combinations which has an earthquake load basic load on it. All right. So going back to our STAAD.Pro. Here, you might want to add new category. Click here, and then let us just name category 3 since I already inputted category 1 and 2 earlier on using the basis of the UBC. By the way, category 1 and category 2 is I just copied that from UBC 7, UBC 1997 here, with a slight with a slight changes, especially here in the dead loads and seismic loads, right? So now we will click new category and let us name category number 3, and we have 18 rules, 18 rules, right? And then let us click on OK, and then it's now added here with the 18 rules here, right? And then the next thing you might want to do is to input the factors, right? The first is 1.4 D plus F. So all you need to do is to input 1.4 here for the dead load, and then the F is stands for the fluid here. So you just type 1.4 for the dead load here, and then 1.4 for the fluids, and then update table, and it is now added, right? Automatically added here. So that is just what you want to do for the rest of these loading combinations, right? So let us one by one input all the factors for our loading combinations. Next is, for this time, this is 1.2 for the dead load, and then also fluid 1.2, and for the temperature, T stands for the temperature. So we got here temperature here, it's 1.2, and then 1.6 live load. So we got 1.6 here, and then 1.6 for H. H stands for soils, right? Lateral pressure of soils. And then LR is for the roof live load. So the factor is 0.5, and then click on table or update table, and then do it again. This time, instead of roof live, input the 0.5 factor for the R, or the rain water, right? Since R stands for the rain load on the undeflected roof, right? Let's do that again. 1.2, and then here 1.6, and then leave that blank for the roof live. Here, input all the loading combinations, and then here 0.5, and then for the temperature is now 1. All right, again update table, and it will now be added there. So I said earlier it was 18 rules here, but actually I counted again, it was actually 19 rules, right? If you apply all of this and then count all of these rules and expand it with load reversals of all these load combinations having lateral loads like earthquake loads and wind loads. So again, it is not 18 rules, but all in all, it is 19 rules. So that is what we are going to apply here in our edit load rules and auto load combinations. So if you can see, I already finished inputting all the rules here using our basic load combinations of NSCP section 203.3.1 for the basic load combinations. And then for this category, let us put in mind that there is still a, what do you call this? There is a criteria, right? There is a criteria for using this factor F1. It says here F1 is equals to 1 for floors and places of public assembly, for live loads in excess of 4.8 kilopascals, and for garage live loads. And then the other factor is 0.5 for other live loads. So you might want as well to include that by adding a new category, right? So for this category you just made, this is using F1 is equals to 1. Now let us add a new category, but let us just copy all these rules, right? Highlight that and then Control C, and then let us make a new category, and let us name that category number 4 with still 19 rules. 19 rules there, and then it will add here, right? We now have 4 categories here, and then let us just paste. Let us just paste, Control V, and then update table. But before we leave that, let us make sure to edit this loading combinations with F1, right? You go back here, loading combinations with F1. This load combination, I'm sorry, this 203-3, 203-4, and 203-5. All of these loading combinations of F1. So instead, this F1, you're using 1. We will use 0.5, right? Let us edit this. So all right, we now have this category, or the other category, which F1 is in 0.5, right? So you might want to check or double check all of these loading combinations. If all of these loading combinations include our target combinations of these rules. Originally we have 7, but if we include the load reversals, meaning the negative, so load reversals, we just input that again, but with a negative sign for all the loading combinations which involves lateral loads such as wind and seismic or earthquake loads. So again, if you notice, this is the original form of these load combinations with an earthquake loads. This loading combination 203-5 and 203-7, right? So this is the original form, but if you expand that using the NSCP 208.6.1, so if you remember this equation, the basic combination E has a still expanded form which is equivalent to rho EH plus EV. And if you expand that further, right here, if you expand that further, in equation 208-18, if you are using a conservative value of rho is equals to 1.25, right? This is the most conservative value that the code allows. EV in this equation here, EV is actually equivalent to 0.5 CAID. CA is the seismic coefficient, I is the importance factor, and then D is for the dead load. Now on the table for the seismic coefficient, CA is actually a factor of NA, or the near source factor. So say for the soil profile type SD, which is the most common soil profile type suitable, CA is equivalent to 0.44 NA. And then NA is the near source factor. This is depending, the value of this depends on the distance to the nearest seismic source, right? Like the active faults or any seismic source. So if you put, or just for the sake of this example, if you just assume that NA is or the near source factor is far enough, right? So NA is 1. Now if you plug in all of those values in our equation, right? In this equation, rho is 1.5, 1.25. So this is now the expanded form. And then if you simplify all the terms, so combine all the terms, you will end up with this equation. E is equals to 1.25 EH plus 0.22 D. And then plug it back to the load combination 203-5 first, no? This load combination 203-5 is 1.2D plus 1.0E plus F1L, right? So E, if you remember, the simplified term for E is 1.25 EH plus 0.22 D, and if combined to simplify this term, you will have this equation right here, 1.42 D plus 1.25 EH plus 0.5 L. Now do the same for the load combination 203-7, which is an original form of 0.9 D plus 1.0 E plus 1.6 H, right? And it will give you this simplified term, right? I already inputted that for both category using F1 equals to 1 and F1 equals to 0.5, right? So I already inputted that here. We'll just touch this so can see all of these terms included right here. So this right here, this loading combination, and then this loading combination, this two loading combination is the 203-5, and then this other two load combination is for load combination 203-7. So if you notice, this involves the F1. So for the category 3, F1 equals to 1, and then similarly here, where it's just F1 is equivalent to 0.5. Right there, 0.5. Right. Yes, I think that will be all for this loading combinations. I think we already included everything with the basic load combinations given in this section. and we already have it inputted here in our load rules and auto load combination generation. So if you update all of these tables, update table, it is now embedded here in your installed STAAD.Pro in your computer. So the next time you want to utilize those loading combinations, you just all you need to do is just click this auto combinations or automatic combinations and click automatic load combinations. It is now here in your drop down list. See that? It is now included there, and if you click that, NSCP 2015, and then you can now choose or select load combination categories right here in this drop down list. So you might want to choose as what we edited earlier. You might want to choose category 3 or category 4. Right, let us test this. Let us just click generate loads, and then if you notice, we have so you have 60 load combinations all in all, right? And if you click add, it will automatically add here your loading combinations. Yep, I think that's all for this video. I hope you learned something, and see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.